Everyone. Hi everyone, welcome. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits and I'm here today to finally open up this loops and thread knitting machine that I know a lot of you have and even more of you have been curious about. So I figured that it would be worth giving it a go. And oh, I should double check. Yes, I am on Wi-Fi, so that is good. Awesome. Yeah, I have been curious about this machine for a while, but I have hesitated on trying it out because the price point is higher than the Singer knitting machines that I own. Plus, I have two Singer knitting machines. So why on earth would I want a third that is another plastic knitting machine that has questionable reviews? Well, my old Singer knitting machine, which I haven't used in a while now, has 20 stitches around. The newer one that I've tested and posted some videos on recently has 22 stitches around. Welcome, guys! Yeah, so the newer one, this one, which I think is between $20 and $30, depending on the seller, this one has 22 stitches around. At least from the box, this loops and thread knitting machine has 40 stitches around, which means that blanks that you knit from this knitting machine are closer to ones like the Knit Pick Stroll blank, which is about 40 stitches across. I'm not going to test out doing flat blanks yet because I haven't used the machine and I don't know the ins and outs of it. But one of the limitations, so I love these commercial blanks, and as you know, I bought a whole box of them. So I have over 20 of these in my house ready to dye them. But you know, I know that for a lot of people, $20 a blank can seem expensive, and it's a little easier to spend, you know, $20 to $30 on a machine to make some of your own. Here's a worsted weight blank I made in the round on one of my at-home knitting machines. And well, you can kind of see the difference between the two. So it's knit in the round, so it's 2 layers of fabric, which isn't a big deal to me, but it's a lot narrower than this blank that you have here. So there is a limitation to the kind of designs that you can do. Now, you can do amazing things with these blanks still. It's just, you know, you're limited in surface area, and I can fit this on my counter in one rectangle, and this is just, you know, this one's a bit longer, you know, it's kind of like a scarf already. So, you know, I still plan to use a lot of these in the sock blank special, the dye-along that's going to start next week, but I figured it was worth exploring another option. So I did wait and get a 40% off coupon before I bought this from Michael's online. I think that, I forget what it is full price, if it's maybe between $70 and $80. So it's a lot more expensive than this machine. And without a coupon is approaching the flatbed ultimate sweater machine that I've been kind of coveting, because you can make flat blanks really easily with one of those. But I've hesitated with those machines because the only ones that I can find are used, and I just hesitate to buy a used knitting machine from someone that I can't talk to. Maybe off topic, but can you make socks with these machines? I'm not sure, to be honest. There are knitting machines that are really cool that you can make socks with, but having not tried this, I'm not sure of the gauge yet. I mean, so with the Singer knitting machines I have, well, that end is the stretchy end, let's see. I mean, okay, yeah, it fits on my foot, so technically you could make a sock, but look at the gauge on that. And so this was made with worsted weight yarn, and so it would not be like the warmest sock in the world. And so if you went to, say, a sock yarn on the Singer knitting machines, you could probably still get it on your foot. Hey, I had it, why not try? But it would not, like, it wouldn't be great for sock. Yeah, Little Bean has the experience with making these. Yeah, that stretch. Yeah, the ultimate sweater machine. Yeah, I mean, you know, I really want one. They run on eBay. The used ones start at around $100. And it is a leap that I would be willing to make. But I also, you know, kind of want to show more. I'm kind of building up to that. But anyway, I haven't opened this yet. And I was thinking, so this is school vacation week. And so the kids are home. And I was like, oh, I want to film a video kind of like with the new Singer knitting machine where I open it up and try it out for the first time. And yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know when I'd have time to edit. So I decided to pop on live. And well, hopefully I will keep it clean with my language if I get frustrated with the machine. But from first glance, this knitting machine almost looks like to be a hybrid between my two knitting machines. And hello, welcome. Between these knitting machines, I prefer the Singer one with the legs. It's a little easier to sort of hold, and it's a little quieter when I'm making the blanks. But the tension arm on the older one looks similar to the Loop and Threads machine. It has, you can kind of tell when the tension is getting too tight because this arm really moves up, and so you can really like visually see that the tension is bad. Whereas with this machine, when the tension gets tight, there isn't something as visual to see to help with that. And so I think that that might be one of the reasons why, like, I would suddenly realize the tension was bad when it was hard to crank, and that would be a row too late. So, but it looks like the Loops and Thread machine has an arm like this one. But let's open up this box. Good morning. Oh, it's nighttime over here. Okay, so we've got some tape on the sides. Let me bring you guys down to my lap. And okay, I'm going for the scissors. I wonder if this is going to make me run and get a, what's it? A screwdriver or something. Or if the legs will just pop on. Welcome, welcome everyone. All right. Whoa. All right, so first thing is whoa, because this is huge. I mean, look at the difference between the size of that and the size of this. I guess I should have known from the box, but this is a big, oh, the other funny thing is it says that it's a 10-piece set, but if you look at what's included, there's a bunch of clips. There's a crochet hook, a yarn needle, the machine itself, and then instructions. So those are the 10 pieces. Eek. All right. This is big. So they answer about for sock knitting. I would say absolutely not. The gauge is not going to be anything good for that because this is so big that even if, I mean, I don't think you'd be able to manage a tight tension. And yeah, I had no sense that this would be like the size of this big. I wonder how big the Addi Turbo is. All right, so, oh, those must be the legs. Okay, so we got the legs and stuff in those bags, but hey, we can make a really, really big pom-pom with this piece of cardboard. Good evening, everyone. So, test one. Ooh, oh, you can't see. It's nice and quiet. That's encouraging. So the hooks themselves look, except for the fact that they're white instead of pink. The Addi King size is about this big. Yeah, so this I think, and the box that counted 40. I'm not going to count again because I'll lose track. But, you know, I think that, I mean, this is just so funny. But gauge-wise, the gauge is probably about the same. And so I would expect the fabric to be itself, except for being large, like the blank to be wider, would be pretty similar. All right, let's open up this little package. And I think this one is more geared towards adults in that the colors are, well, not pink. Nothing against pink, but The Singer machines are definitely marketed towards kids. So we've got a plastic 3.75 millimeter little crochet hook. I mean, I have some that are better in my kit, but you know, I don't, I wonder how similar the gauge will be to the Singer machine. Yeah, so I think that the gauge, well, we'll see how we get started, but I'm assuming it'll be pretty similar. And then here is the yarn needle, just pretty standard. So it's about 2 needles less than the Addi Turbo. All right. Now, I have not read the instructions for this yet. I can make a sweater with this one. I have struggled with the ones that I have the Singer machines at least, to use. Ooh, I like that there's, okay, so one note, at the bottom of these pads, there's little like felt tips. And so that's nice. That should help it be sturdy. I mean, so I'm being bad and a bad scientist because I'm not reading the instructions and I'm just going ahead and popping these in. But let's see if this will fit. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. These almost look like they could clip on something. Look at the way these legs are. Interesting. I mean, my stool... Whoa. Okay, so it kind of like... Could I... Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay. I don't know if you could see what I did, but check this out. One-handed. And this is not moving or... Okay, it moved. Okay, well, we'll figure out placement, but this isn't bad. Okay, let's see about the tension dongle piece. And looking at this, I should open up the instructions. Yeah, get some clamps. I mean, this one is better set up for it to use with clamps compared to some of the other ones. Before you start, you must get the tension correct or the machine could drop stitches. If this happens, loosen or tighten the tension. Make a swatch, but really we're making blanks, so it's basically a swatch. Yarn must be loose as you knit. Stabilize your machine. It won't perform well if it wobbles or moves while you work. Do not crank the handle too hard or fast or you might damage the machine. I tend to crank really fast, but yeah. Maintain different weights of yarn, require different tension. Don't be alarmed if it makes a little noise when knitting with tighter tension. I mean, so the picture shows, and you can kind of get a sense of, I mean, this isn't going to be the best resolution of the kind of gauge. Oh, it's bigger on the back. That you can get with this. I mean, they have an example of hats made with this machine. Both a child, I hope I didn't freeze. Both a child and a adult. So, oh, and I think she's also wearing a scarf. All right, but let's figure out, oh no. Did this go offline, guys? Can someone let me know if I am still here? What is going on with my computer? My computer's making me sign in. But, okay, I guess I'm on another account. If I'm still, if you guys can hear me, can you say something? My machine logged in on my other, oh, okay, I see myself again. That's good. Sorry if it was interrupted. That was weird because my phone didn't indicate anything was off, but the computer, thanks for saying something. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, so I maybe did cut out for a bit, but okay, great. So don't crank too hard if it seems stuck. I'm assuming a lot of these things will be similar, but it doesn't tell me how to add the thing yet. Choose yarn. Yarns in the 1 to 4 range. Heavier, bulky yarns will not work. Roll each skein of yarn into a ball first. Yeah, the Swift, working from the Swift is probably too much tension. Okay, so where's the tubes and... Aha! Oh! This one gives handy little... Okay, this is nice. So, tube is with a circle and a T, and P for panel. I will be doing tubes. But that's a handy thing. But then how does this fit on? Oh, down here. Okay. I'm assuming... Okay. Look at the picture. So this has a bit that kind of moves. So if there's, depending on the tension, this will move the arm. And there's a spot down here that it looks like this inserts into. There. And so then, yeah, looks like that's about right. Okay, now I need to see, let's fit on this stool. Okay, yeah. It's still so far, I mean, it'll be harder with yarn, but, and I might be a little short for doing this, but here we are. Don't lose your receipt. They seem to have a 6-month life if you play with yarns too heavy, but Michaels will replace it. They have plastic gears, not metal. Yeah, all these ones that I'm dealing with here have plastic gears. Her work table split in the middle and uses clamps. Oh, I should look into a good table with clamps. Yeah, I figured, I mean, a lot of people have been asking, so I figured it was worth trying this. And okay, see if I can find the center of my center pull ball. And this is not going well for me so far. Oh, come on. All right. Well, I pulled out a mini ball from I had just wound, this is the Wool of the Andes, Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted weight yarn. And apparently I am making a mess because I could not find my center and I'm dropping it. So I'm now unwinding this little ball to find, yeah, yarn, barf. Hey, you know, I'm doing this live, so I'm bound to have issues, right? So I'm not entirely reading the instructions, except I want to see how to thread. Okay, so it has, so this, okay, let me turn this around. Okay, so it looks like similar to the older machine. So after I get the yarn all set up, the yarn will kind of go through, this is just like a canyon right here. The yarn goes through there, and then you kind of weave it through here to add the tension. And so this will add tension, and if you need less tension, you can put it through fewer of those holes. Mine is clamped to adjustable split bench too. Nice, yeah. Okay, so I am going to start this off, I guess, can I, maybe I'll come down here so it's a little, so I can kind of try to show you. So I am going to start off not with the yarn in the canyon thing, but I am going to catch every other hook. And because this is how starting. Ooh, here's another nice feature. Did you guys see that black hook? There's a black hook here. So I think that means if you're going to be doing like a flat panel, it's obvious what hook would be the turning point. There's, you know, these little features that make it a bit nicer than the other one. Okay. So, not that holding this up will really show much, but I have threaded every other hook. And now, of course, I was unprepared for the footprint of this. And now, does it have you go down through the top? Yeah. And so now I'm going to thread the yarn through the tension arm here, like so. And we'll see how she goes. If you have a salad spinner at the bottom. Whoa! Okay, so this is I'm bad at remembering to read the comments, but this is a great suggestion. If you have a salad spinner under the machine, when you put the yarn in it, it'll spin around like in the salad spinner so it won't get super twisted. That is amazing, and I am going to use that for so many things now. Like I did an I-cord maker and it just kept getting twisted, but if I had the base resting in that, oh, my mind is blown. But okay, well, we know, oh dear. Oh dear. Why am I not getting caught? Is this supposed to, oh, okay. So not only, it's just a canyon, but I wasn't down through the very end of it. So that is already something to keep your eye on. And you can hear, maybe it's a little too much tension. Oh, why is that? It's not like the yarn doesn't really want to stay in the arm. Huh. Maybe I'm just going to have it through one hole. Seems a bit happier. So I removed it from the second 2 holes on there because it just seemed like there was just way too much tension. And oh, wait a minute. I got these clippy bits. I'm assuming that means I'm supposed to put them like on the yarn or something, but what are these clippy bits for? This is what I get for not reading the instructions, right? If you have a machine, so these aren't shoot. Well, that broke. Oh no. Well, I might have to go to Michael's tomorrow. Okay, so I tried pinching this, and the part that snapped is this like clip. Like that snapped off, but it seems to still like, oh, I see. That, you can see where that's broken. So how important are these clips to whatever it is I am doing? Because I know that my little crank, I'm going to come up while I figure this out. My little crank I-cord maker has a weighted clip that you need to keep the stitches on. But set tension. Oh, so these are weights. So once you have knitted about an inch, clip on the weights evenly around the bottom of the knitting and carefully pull down. Any problems, try adding a few more clips. But these are really like, okay, so it's calling these clips weights. These are really light. I have another clip that is definitely a weighted clip, and that like has some real oomph to it. So maybe this, and so I now know, do not press on this too hard because it might break. But yeah, I guess, you know, after a few rounds, I'm supposed to clip this onto the fabric, I guess, to help pull it down. I mean, this is a lot bigger than, you know, the tube here. I mean, I think that I can almost like balance. Yep, it does fit inside. So, you know, before, I haven't tried using weights with the other machine. You only need the clamps for the first 20 or so rows, and then the weight of the fabric will do it. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. So far, so good. This thing is big. Okay, so that's like, ooh, I feel like I could start going fast, but I am really excited about being able to make a bigger blank. This feels really, really smooth. But I see how maybe the fabric could pop off. So let's try. Maybe it's a little soon. Yeah, I can't really clip it yet. Okay, maybe like now I can clip it more. Let's try. Well, that's another one. These clips are not great because you like squeeze it to try to get. So I've broken 2 clips so far, and I'm on my first one. This machine works best with using wool and wool blend yarns. So the yarn I'm using today is 100% wool. It is the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes that I use most frequently. One of the ones I use most frequently in my dyeing videos. So that's good to know. Unlike the Singer knitting machines, this one did not come with any yarn. Not that I minded. I haven't used the yarns that came with the Singer machines, but man, I can't believe that I totally snapped 2 of the clips just trying to squeeze them. So that's the thing about being live. I can't hide anything. Otherwise, this has been pretty easy to set up. Okay, I've reached the end of my yarn barf period, and now I am at the center of my center pull ball. And at least with my other knitting machines, I have found that sometimes I need to, like, until I've gotten through the center a bit, I need to pull out some yarn, or else the tension gets too high. And maybe I should. Oh, I'm wearing a black shirt, so that makes this tension arm not very easy to see. Just remember, a fat tube will be shorter than the narrow one from the Singer. Exactly. So I'm very excited. So basically, what I'm expecting here is going to be a tube that's about this. Yeah, it's basically going to be like I were to fold this in half. So it'll be much shorter, and so maybe about that wide or so. So I'm actually really excited to have a fatter tube, and I hope I don't get too bummed because this is way easier to use than the Singer machine. I mean, right now I'm in a really awkward position because I'm filming, but do you see how easy it is for me to hold on to this? Like, this is really nice. Oh, I can probably clip better now. Dollar stores carry metal-looking clothespins that are the length of wire. Oh, okay. That might help. But I can kind of re-clip. I know I don't need the clips for that much longer, but you know, these are like a funny shaped clip for like trying to use with this also, just because, yeah. All right, so the clips aren't great, but otherwise this is like really smoothly. Should I tell you that I have one of my Big Addies hooked up to a sewing machine motor so you don't have to crank? Oh, that's even better than a drill because you could use a foot pedal. Try putting your yarn on the floor for a more even tension. And don't get excited. Now, so when I've done videos, you know, I like to crank. Okay. See, I like to go pretty fast. I guess this isn't that fast. I don't think I could go much faster. Okay, but the floor tip is actually pretty good. We'll see if the tension is gets too tight, but this hasn't really gotten stuck on me yet. So that's pretty nice. See, when I try to turn. All right, so I like I like the feet. I like, yeah, there's a lot going for this. I wish my shorter stool was bigger because I think it would be easier if I'll have to sit in a higher chair. It would be easier. Like right now, my knees are below where the machine is. So it's a slightly awkward angle for me. But, you know, if you've watched my other videos, this is nice. They all serve their purpose though. I mean, if you want to do stripes or something, then a thinner tube might be nicer because when you're dealing with a less wide piece of fabric, it's easy, you can make a thicker stripe. And I can, but this is like, yeah, the machine definitely feels like it's a higher quality machine from the Singer ones. I mean, you can see it's still moving around a tiny bit. Actually, I'm gonna move that back so I don't hit the, it's still moving around a tiny bit on me as I'm cranking, but I'm not irritated and I'm not struggling. One of those round wooden tabletops that I made to cover with a tablecloth. Put one on the stool, yeah. Hey, it's my pleasure. I mean, I'm planning this sock blank special dye-along that's gonna start next week. And so I thought about like kicking it off with a live stream making a blank, but I'm really, really excited for this. I mean, now I don't regret buying 20 of these blanks. I mean, it saves me work and I love dyeing them, but I'm kind of digging this. Maybe I'll have to give my older machines to the kids and put them to work a bit. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. This is like really nice. Okay, so it's a little loud and hopefully not too annoying or something, but it might be irritating to do in the room if you're watching TV or something. But ergonomically, I like this way better than my new Singer machine. I mean, yes, it would still be nice with any of them. And so I'll kind of show. So like without yarn, so you could see that like it, you know, it slips around more, and I've been putting it on felt pads, which has actually helped a lot. And it's really not that annoying, but the scale of it is, it's been a little harder for, and again, like I've made what I've had this maybe like I guess I bought it in December, but I've been using it for mostly, I unboxed it in January, so maybe about a month or so. And I've made at least like 10 blanks, I think, on it so far. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys don't find it too loud. So, you know, but it's again, like, this has been a minor annoyance for me. And you can see all the comments on some of the videos of it with suggestions of people of how to improve it. But yes, it's made exactly. The Singer machines are made for smaller hands. This one is made for a grown-up. Wow. So again, clearly not socks. I mean, okay, maybe that's not a good idea for me to do that while I still have it on here. But I think I could fit my head through here, which is what I was gonna do. But then I realized I would probably pull all the stitches off on the machine. And then I might get sad because it would ruin this beautiful blank that I'm making. But okay, so now I'm gonna try going really fast. Like, I'm gonna try going really fast. I guess I can't go much faster than this. I don't think my hands can go too much faster. So speed-wise, I'm not sure if it is faster. I'm gonna come back up so you can see me there. I don't know if this one is faster or slower than the Singer knitting machine, really. Certainly, yeah, I haven't paid attention to 120 rows makes a double thickness beanie. Oh yeah, I guess if you were gonna like fold it in like that, then you could get a warmer hat if you're going to double it over. But yeah, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, the fabric and the gauge definitely seems way more even. And in all my messing around, I've not dropped a stitch yet. But really, except for the size and stuff, it works the same as the other knitting machines that I have. So if you watch one of those tutorials of like how like setting it up, and I know some other people like to do a proper bind off at the end, or you can catch the stitches, excuse me, as they fall off. I'm a little sloppy when I get to the end. I like to use the yarn needle and just kind of like put the yarn through the last few stitches. But you don't need it. You could do a cleaner, proper bind off to unravel. I just, you know, since I'm going to unravel it, I don't mind being a little careless with it in the end. But yeah. Oh, this is so nice. You know, the pictures on the website and the pictures on the box really did not do it justice. You know, I mean, clearly these are not really intended for, you know, there's certainly limits of what you can do with the machine, but it feels like it's better made than the Singer knitting machine. So if you, especially if you have access to a coupon, I mean, in the description here, I have a link to it on Amazon because I'm an Amazon affiliate, and so if you buy it through Amazon, then, you know, I get credit for a sale. But, I mean, go to Michael's and use a, you know, if they have a 55% off coupon or something, then it gets close to the price of the Singer knitting machine, which, you know, when you buy on Amazon, depending, you know, it ranges between $20 and $30. So, again, depending on what you want to do with it, I recommend, I like this one better. Can't wait to see what it looks like when it's all wound. Yeah. So, ooh, the one thing is these legs are nice, but they're kind of flimsy, so I wouldn't pick up from it. So, maybe I'll get a little more length. I need like another pair of hands. But so here we are right now. Once I get more length, I can hold it up. Oh, actually, I guess I can hold it up right now. But so the Singer blank versus the loops and thread blank, which you can see is wider. So for some of the, really it makes more of a difference when you're doing, like if you saw the beautiful random ChemKnits design I did that looked kind of graffiti-esque. I mean, something like that, I had a large space to draw and stuff on. And you could certainly write something on the shorter blank and write a message down the length of it and stuff like that. But there's, you know, when we're going to start playing around with some stencils on these blanks and stuff, having a bigger surface area to work with, even with a doubled over piece of fabric, is nice. Oh good, that was just you. Okay. Yeah, let me know. And if my feed cuts out and I notice that it cuts out, I will pop in the comments and let you know if, you know, that I'm still here and I'm trying to work on it. So if the feed cuts out, just sort of hang tight. Oh, I'll bring you guys lower again so you can kind of see what's going on at the bottom of the machine. You can see the fabric is touching the stool, so it's kind of going around as it's getting twisted. But that salad spinner comment is really helpful. I think, I mean, it'd be hard for me to fit under here. But if I was using, say, like a split bench or something, and then that could be useful. But, you know, I mean, it says that you should probably tug on it every so often, but I am having no issue here. And, ooh, now, well, hopefully I haven't spoken too soon, but you can see down at my feet, I've got the center pull ball, and now, I mean, it's really loose now, so the yarn's coming out really, really easily as I'm doing this. But again, like, if I were to go through all of the tension bits. And you can see, like, when I start, see how the tension arm has just moves up when I start cranking. But if I, whoops, I took out the wrong, there we go. But if I have it back down just through the one hole, the tension arm stays lower. If you want ideas for what you could make with your circular knitting machines, the Addie King Loomers and Knits group of Facebook is a good resource for patterns, hints, and tips. Oh, thank you. That's actually really helpful. Excuse me. I'm a lot more interested in these machines for making blanks that I can dye and unravel. But I know that loom knitter, I'm sure that, you know, you can do a lot of stuff with it. I know people can do amazing things with looms. And I guess one of these is, it's more like just kind of like an automated loom. The machine makes, so you can, I believe you can, but this is what happens when you get distracted. All right. So this machine is working very similarly to the Singer machines I've done. And I'm going to just, I don't have a ruler with me because that would have been too smart, but the gauge here looks very, very similar. Let me bring you closer without throwing anything on the ground. Maybe not. I'm like attached to a battery. So the gauge between the two are very similar. And on my Singer knitting machines, I have done with great success double-stranded fingering weight blanks. Excuse me. And I've had some videos with those on the channel. But so I believe that yes, and other people have talked about it too. I think that there would be no problem making a circular double-stranded blank on this machine. Now, what I'm really curious about is if you could do a flat blank on this machine, because a flat blank here would be nearly equivalent in size. So if I fold my commercial blank, and it's a little harder to tag in half, yeah, a flat blank made on this machine would be very equivalent to what I buy from Knit Picks. I mean, obviously there could be some imperfections and stuff, but I will probably, before I try doing a flat blank, I will do a double-stranded soft blank on this machine. And I'll let you guys know how it, I don't know if I probably won't film it, but I'll let you know how it goes on my Facebook page. I'm ChemKnits, just ChemKnits on Facebook, and I'll probably also share to the ChemKnits Lab group on Facebook, which is a group for ChemKnits. Yes, I would do a double-stranded and fingering weight. The ChemKnits Lab group on Facebook is a group for fans of ChemKnits. And a lot of people are showing a lot of them are shared like their own dyeing projects, and yeah, so sometimes I share some of my designs and stuff, and so we have fun there. So if you join, the only requirements to join are that you love fiber arts. So the questions, there's some questions just to keep bots out, but if you have interest in fiber arts, you know, you don't need an essay or anything to enter, but it's a really, really fun group. So I recommend that you guys join if you haven't already. But yeah, so right now I'm doing worsted weight. And on the Singer machine, you know, I think that these hooks are, yeah, I think that the hooks look identical in their shape. And I think I've read somewhere that you might be able to use like these hooks as a replacement for this machine. Not that I know how you would open it and repair it, but I have on the Singer knitting machine, just to test it out, once I did a bulky one, and I think that was a struggle. On the Singer machines, I also attempted a double-stranded worsted weight blank and a double-stranded DK weight blank. Now, I successfully made them, but boy, could I feel the gear straining to do it. And I had to hold the yarn, like not even use the yarn inlet at all. I was like holding it manually, and it was even with a DK weight, this struggled. And you could hear, the sounds like it was stripping the gears, and that's not what you want, especially if you're getting a more expensive machine. Flat panels are slower to produce, and you can't just crank mindlessly. Yeah, that's why, so I had the video. So this machine would allow you to do a flat panel as well. But ultimately, like, I started to try doing it because I was going to film making a flat blank on this machine. And the gears just were not happy when I was cranking in the reverse direction, which made it a little harder to tell where the stopping point was. And at one point I accidentally dropped some stitches, and I just decided it's not worth trying again. I'm just going to make this blank that I was going to do in the round, because ultimately I'm trying to make something that I'm planning to unravel. It wasn't worth the extra effort. I am impressed. Okay, I see one place where the stitch looks a little bit bigger. But overall, it seems really nice, and like the fabric seems really even. I'm really, really impressed, and I did not expect to be impressed. Yeah, it was frustrating. But, you know, I still shared the video with some subtitles of my thoughts, because I went silent. I was like, you know, if you could see my face, I was like, what? And then I was like, nope. So yeah, I know that even on this machine, the flat panel would be more effort, but at least since there's twice as many stitches, that's half the number of rows. So that's not bad. And so I'm going slow and sort of meandering. So this is what I've been streaming now for 46 minutes, and I'm probably at least halfway done. What would be the difference between a circular blank and a flat blank? Well, I guess one of the main differences is that your circular blanks, since it's a tube, when you're dyeing it, you're dyeing through 2 layers of knit fabric, versus even with a double, you know, and so with a double knit blank, you've got 4, like, it's almost like even a little thicker, which isn't a huge problem. You can still get dye penetration through it, but you have slightly less control over that. And so when the blank is flat, since you go back and forth, just the patterns that you get can be a little different as well. And so, but you can play around with it. And so you can do techniques where you get dye penetration. Like you could use the color mist sprays and get dye on one side of the circular blank, and you'd pretty much get none on the other, which would give you like some like speckling. It could give you like a regular pattern of speckling and no speckling. So there's things that you can do to take the circular nature of the blank to your advantage to get something cool. So, I mean, this stool is just about the exact size as these legs, so it's not ideal for making this. Yeah, you remember when you were watching that one? Yeah. But overall, I like that there's a good place to put, let's see if I shift myself. I like that there's a nice place to put my hand. I mean, obviously hands-free would be better, and you know, I can't do that hands-free, but I like having a natural place to put my hand that is not feeling awkward. So I clocked, not on the new Singer machine, but on this, my original one that like is an ergonomic nightmare. I think it took somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes for me to make a blank, kind of going as, oh, it's on flat panel, going as fast as I could, you know, and so, yeah, I don't know if I was going super, super fast, how quickly I'd be able to make one here. I mean, it feels like, oh, funny, it's just like a little bit of dust from the yarn. I feel like cranking as fast as I can on this, it is maybe a little slower than I was going on the Singer machine, but I don't really know. Oh, I could have brought my scale out. It will keep the relationship fresh. I could have brought the scale. Yeah, it's a bit noisy. Especially I think as this is getting longer. The other Singer knitting machine is not quite this loud. That's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I could have brought my little yarn scale out so that way I could know like what percentage of the way I am through this blank. But I am still, yeah, I think my one fault is that you can't, it's heavy enough, which I think also helps it stay in place as you're using it, but you can't lift it up by the legs. Like that is not gonna work well. It's broken? No, it's not broken. It's just a plastic machine and makes some plastic noise. Thanks. Yeah, so now if you're just joining in, on this channel, I mostly do dyeing videos. I dye yarn with mostly food coloring for knitting. Yeah, I dye yarn mostly with food coloring, but I've just started using some commercial acid dyes, and I do a lot of experimentation. And next week, starting on Monday, the 26th of February, I'm hosting a dye-along, which has a theme of sock blanks. But of course, they can be worsted weight blanks like this. This is a knitting machine that I'm using right here. So this is a knitting machine, and I'm making this knit blank right now that I will then dye during the sock blank special, probably you know, some kind of fun random pattern, and then you unravel it, and you can either unravel directly when you're making a new project, or you can put it in a skein form, and you can get really unique asymmetric skeins of yarn doing this. But if you knit with 2 strands of fingering weight yarn at a time, then you end up with a double-stranded blank, and you can then when you dye it and then unravel it, you'll get 2 identical skeins of yarn, which is perfect for socks. So this knitting machine actually has 2 modes, and this is my first time with this particular machine. It has 2 modes. Right now I'm on the tube form, but you can also make flat panels, which could probably be used for a variety of things. Now the reviews for this machine and hand crank knitting machines in general tend to be pretty bad. I think that people tend to have really high expectations. Welcome, and yeah, I think people tend to have really high expectations for knitting machines like this, but you can't, I mean, there are limitations to what they can do. They are made out of plastic. You can skip and drop stitches if you go too fast. But, you know, if you're making a blank that you plan to unravel, then you don't care about that too much. This is, let me check actually, how much it is. Here we go. So I got this with a 40% off coupon, but it's $70 on Michaels. It's a little more on Amazon where I linked to it, but on Michaels it's $69.99. Yeah, in Canada it is a lot more expensive. And so $69.99 is a lot for a plastic knitting machine. But if you wait for one of their 40, 50, 55, 60% off coupons, I think you can find them in the store. Oh, okay. Yeah, in Ontario, yeah, people have said in Canada that they are very expensive. And it's a shame. Especially since, I mean, I guess without the international aspect, so many places, like, I'm closer to, well, yeah, a lot of places in Canada are closer than to me than other places in the United States. So, I think for me, when I was mailing stuff, mailing to Canada was about twice as expensive. I don't know if Michaels Online would be cheaper, and actually I also don't know what the exchange rate is like right now, but yeah, I'm very impressed with this machine. I was expecting to be excited because it had more stitches, and that was the real reason why I decided to get it, because I like the Singer knitting machines fine, But I was wanting to get a wider blank. You know, this is pretty narrow, and this has almost double the stitches as the Singer machines. But, you know, and I'm getting, you know, this is a much, much better blank. I'm coming up towards the end right now. The exchange rate is awful, I'm sure. Are there Michael's stores in Canada? I have no idea if they're like an international company or if they just upcharge for international things. I mean, the Amazon is it's over $80. This machine is over $80 on Amazon, but I haven't checked out the Canada Amazon. It's a plastic version of the Addy professional knitting machines. Yeah, so I mean, I'd love to get, now here's a question. If those of you, for you who own the Addies, do those work with worsted weight yarn? I know someone who still knits by hand. Oh, I knit by hand. Like you know, I love doing some color work mittens are some of my favorite things. I love knitting lace shawls and stuff. I probably would not, oh, hey, we can test. Okay, so yes, it technically can fit on my head. I have a small head. Okay, it does fit, but you can see the gauge of it. Oh. So yes, it can technically, you could make a hat. It would probably, I mean, the gauge of this though is still like, you know, it's very loose. So it would not be the best hat. But yes, you can technically make a hat. Hey, I tried the other one on my foot earlier. This is too big for a sock. Certainly like a scarf and stuff would be pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I will certainly try to do 2 strands of fingering weight yarn on this soon. But I don't recommend, you know, going, I mean, double-stranded fingering weight yarn is a good substitution for worsted weight anyway. It's a perfect width to make a sleeve of a sweater and then a flat panel to make the front and back. Cool. Leg warmers would probably be pretty cool too. I'm still mostly, I think personally I would still be inclined to knit. Actually, making panels for, using these to make panels for an Afghan or something wouldn't be bad either. I've done a lot of knitting for an organization in Boston that was giving you making blankets for, they would set up homeless with permanent housing, and then they would give them homemade blankets that people would make, you know, 12-inch by 12-inch squares to kind of give something that was more personal and less sterile feeling, to like feel more like a home. And I lost that comment. When you take the knitted pieces off, you tug the yarn sideways and lengthwise to get it to the right size. Sure. Sure, yeah, blocking would help. I gotta be honest. You came here to troll, but I seem cool. Aww. Well, thank you for not... This realize this is live, but you've become addicted to my dyeing experiments. Yay! Yeah, so I'm coming up on the end. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, I have a lot of fun, and next week is going to be a really big week with so much live dyeing of yarn and stuff. And so I'm excited. And I know a lot of you guys have already gotten started dyeing your blanks. I've been dyeing for some of the pre-filmed videos. I'll probably be live. I'm coming live tomorrow just to do some random dyeing because I've just been itching to make some pretty colors and just mess around. And so I figured that I'd just come live with no plan and we'd just dye some yarn. And then I've got some sock blanks that I need to unravel to finish editing some of these pre-filmed videos. What time do I normally do live broadcasts? Oh gosh, they vary. Frequently, I usually start around noon Eastern time is sort of the default, because it tends to either be like around nap time or just, you know, a safe time to do that. But tomorrow I'm going live at 9 a.m. because I mentioned that it's vacation week right now, but the kids are going to my mother-in-law's for the morning to go play with her, to go play with grandmama. And so I will have a couple hours to myself. So tomorrow it's going to be a morning one. But during the Sock Blank Special Week next week, I've got one starting at 9. I've got one starting at 8, you know, in the 8 p.m. Eastern time and in the middle of the day. So I've really tried to vary it so that way I know that I have a lot of people from different time zones. So as many people as possible can try to join in. You finally dyed some fingering weight yarn and broke violet. Oh no, yarn barf. Oh, that's hard. Well, that's why I do these. I've started doing more live streams and I try to show, my videos can be really long, but I try to show as much of the process as I can because really it's easy. Like here I am like doing this, I unboxed this, I hadn't ever tried this machine. And I mean, I'd used other ones, but if I make it look easy, it's because it is pretty easy. But I think that the most important thing you can do when you're going to dye your own yarn is approach it with an attitude of, I wonder what will happen if. And if you go into trying something out, like, I wonder what will happen if I dye yarn with tea or with orange soda, or if I try applying it with foam brushes. If you go into this like, I wonder what will happen versus I want to achieve this specific color. Like if you go in saying, I wonder what will happen, then you'll always be surprised and happy and delighted with the results versus feeling disappointed. But if you have limited yarn and limited resources, then, you know, you might want to play around with some mini skeins or something to find something that you like first. And so I can understand, I've got a little knot here, having more limitations there, but I try, sometimes I get asked if I have yarns I don't like. And I have yarns that I love more than others. That is true. But I've had very few projects that have actually left me feeling disappointed. So, yeah. And so that's what I've found. Like on an early one, I cannot tell what's going on with this knot. On an early video, I had... I did a long version and a short version, and more people watched the long version. So I was like, oh, and you know, I'm glad people enjoy the live streams. I have so much fun getting to interact with all of you as I do it. So I really am now approaching the end of this yarn. Hobby Lobby had watercolor ink. Yeah, I mean, some things will, like, I have no idea if watercolor ink will be permanent or if it'll wash out. But you never know until you try. And, well, or, I mean, sometimes it can help with certain things. You can see, does someone use it to dye fabric? And if you can find someone who has used it to dye fabric, then that could be an indication that, okay, that maybe it'll work on wool. And especially if someone has done something on silk, then that might translate to wool. So maybe you need to make a giant pom-pom if the yarn is so tangled. Do I have any suggestions of what to dye acrylic yarn with? So thus far, the only thing I've really done successfully with acrylic yarn is the RIT Dye More synthetic dye. I have seen some people who have done some really cool results with, and I forget the type, but it's with a certain kind of hair dye. They've gotten some really cool results on acrylic yarn. And I know that other brands have dyes that are intended for synthetics. And so those, but you know, food coloring will not work on acrylic. Commercial acid dyes will not work on acrylic. Oh, awesome. Oh, it did work. That's great. I'm glad that the watercolor ink worked. All right. Here we are coming up to the end. You guys, I just basically made a whole, not basically, I did make a whole blank live. All right. And so this is where I get lazy. So I could try to catch each stitch as it goes, but I kind of just like to, so I now have no more yarn. Let's see. Ooh. Ah! Oh, even that's easier than the Singer machine. Wow. I almost... Okay. Where are you going to go, pretty? Like, okay. So, you know, the end just curled up. I almost am tempted to leave the stitches live. I don't think I will. I'm tempted. I don't know. I mean, the commercial blanks that I use have the stitches live. They're not secured at all. But here is the blank we get. So it's, you know, definitely about double the size as, let me lower you guys a bit, double the size width-wise as these ones. So the gauge, yeah, this is definitely the same gauge as a Singer machine. So it's twice as wide as we get from the Singer machine, and curious, but okay, so a little, the Singer one is a little longer than twice as long. So, but it's, you know, very, very close gauge wise. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to wait, with the sock blank special coming up, I didn't want to wait too long to try it off. About the Singer knitting machine for half off. That's great. Yeah, I mean, as long as you can unravel it. I mean, I have, and I showed, I guess the video hasn't come out. I dyed and I unraveled live a homemade blank that I had made using 2 ends of a center pull ball, and it had some like big gaps and messes and stuff in it. And the skeins, the 2 skeins are identical. When I weighed them, they're within half a gram of each other. And so that worked. It worked great. But I do recommend, if you're going to do a double-stranded blank, start with 2 50-gram balls of yarn. And then, so that way the yarns won't twist around each other. Because if you, well, here, let me grab, because I think I'm going to do make another crochet blank. So I made... Here are 2 50-gram skeins of Wool of the Andes worsted weight yarn. And if I was going to go, where's my end? Oh, come on. There we go. So if I was going to go from the inside and the outside, you can kind of, you can see how, like, as you pull from the outside, it wraps around the inner strand. And that's sort of how you end up with yarn that's twisted around and then a little harder to unravel. So if you're going to use a blank, and I've done this with sock yarn now, I have 2 center pull balls and sort of like 1 on either side on the floor. And then I think that those homemade ones should be as easy to unravel as the commercial blanks are. My hair is, my hair is goofy. From trying this on my head. Thanks. It's, you know, it's all about just having some fun and I like trying to find new ways to add color to yarn, and, you know, I'm constantly just kind of pushing myself, and I really get a ton of inspiration from all of you that watch me. I know that, you know, some of you I've seen around for like a really long time, and some of you tonight are new, and it's just, you know, you ask questions and I love it because this just gives me ideas of, oh, either it's something that I know the answer to, but I've never done a video to, so it inspires a new video, or it's something that I haven't even considered, and so therefore I want to make a video and try it out. And honestly, early on, I started filming, so some of my first videos are things that I had done before. I tried it before I had filmed it. But then I started filming videos the first time I ever tried something, and I started calling them dyeing experiments, and it was fun and people liked them. And so it was like, okay, I can make tutorials as someone who is learning, and it's, you know, I'm learning along with you sometimes. And, you know, I've just dyed more yarn. So with food coloring, I have a really good sense of how much I want to use for what color, and which colors are more intense than others. So I have a good hand for mixing them. With acid dyes, I feel a little bit like a newborn deer, and then I'm a little wobbly with some of the colors. But there's some things that, based on instinct from the food coloring, translates so well, and it's just great. You've seen me dye with the past Easter egg dye tablets. Have I tried the pastel ones or metallic dyes? No, I have not tried those. The metallic ones, I don't know what to expect from that. I did get one of the metallic Wilton food coloring sprays to try out, but yeah, I haven't tried any like metallic food coloring things just yet. Hi. And yeah, I found some new cool Easter egg dye things that I picked up. I don't know if I'm going to play around with any of those during the Sock Blank special, but maybe. I've tried to, in the description, there's a list of the schedule. And with the videos that I've planned, I have a sort of some of the materials that I'm using. So that way, if you want to like join like as I'm dyeing live, try to like, you know what materials to gather if you want to try dyeing like at the same time, or if you might want to try something later, then you know like, kind of like what to get. Oh, yay! Yeah, I've been wondering, so my neighborhood has a community center in it, and yeah, I've been wondering about doing like a neighborhood, but I don't know how many knitters there are in my neighborhood, but yeah, I've been... When I lived in Illinois, I had my crochet club come over and we did a little dye-along. So I actually have on my website, I have a PDF that I made for that was sort of like an introduction to dyeing yarn with food coloring that I gave as a handout at the dye-along that I did with my crochet club, and that was fun. So my local Dollar Tree did not have any Easter egg dye kits, but I last went on February 15th, so I think that there might still be a bit of a transition, but I've been checking. I live really close to one, so I've been checking regularly because I prefer to spend $1 versus $3 on more Easter egg dye kits. But okay, I think I do want to secure. That's the beginning end, not the end. See, it rolled nicely. You always manage to post when you look away. You shouldn't try to make a Tanzanian crochet blank. So I've tried. Is it Tanzanian? Yeah, I've tried. I actually have a crochet hook where I could do it. It's a smaller crochet hook because I have one. It like will screw on to my interchangeable needles set. I've only tried that Tanzanian crochet once at a fiber fair. I tried it out and it was really cool. And I think it would be really cool to do as a blank for dyeing. I just am not an expert on that technique. Thinking of doing grandkids' handprints. Oh, okay. Doing kids' handprints on a blank as a memory thing to knit up. That is really, really special. That's beautiful. I have. If my house weren't a disaster, I would show them. Actually, no, they're all on my website. I love doing handprint art with my kids. I have this spot that you can see when you open the front door that I do these 3 panel things. I did one for Halloween, one for like Valentine's Day. I have a winter one where it's just, I have a Thanksgiving one that it's all like, so right now there's one that's like says love with like my youngest when he was a newborn. So it's his feet to make the V. And my older child, his hand to be the O. And then there's like one with all of our handprints on it. And so I love stuff like that. So that's just beautiful. Yeah, no, sometimes I pick up Easter egg dye kits when they are full price because I want to make sure to have some on hand. But I always after Easter like to go to Target and try to pick up everything that's left because you can't. Easter egg dye tablets are one thing that you really can't order online. But okay, I keep saying I'm going to secure the end of this, but I think I'm going to try not, and we'll see how that does and if it unravels on me as I dye it. I don't know how I'm going to dye this one yet, but since the end has curled up nicely, it seems like it would be more trouble than it's worth to try to secure that end. But this is a nice blank. I am really looking forward to this machine, and I like that these are wider, so they give me a lot more surface area to work with, especially compared to the ones from the Singer machine. So I hesitated, and it's funny because when I was getting the new Singer machine, I was like, oh shoot, maybe I should have sprung for the Loops and Threads machine, but oh, it's more expensive. What's the difference really? And then it was really realizing that it had more stitches that made it useful. You've seen color tablets on eBay. Yeah, I mean, I think that, so I've bought Kool-Aid packets on eBay because not all places have like blue and green. Actually, a supermarket, if you're in like Massachusetts area, there's a Stop and Shop in Dedham off of VFW Parkway, and they have a rainbow of Kool-Aid, and it's great. But otherwise, it can be hard to find sometimes some of the greens and blues. So therefore, I bought some off of eBay. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to try to do a flat panel before the sock length special. Because I have a feeling that the flat panels are a bit more fiddly and certainly would be slower to do. I mean, this, to do this whole panel, I mean, starting out and with setting up the machine, it probably took under an hour. But I don't know how much longer doing a flat panel would take. But I have hand crocheted a couple blanks, and so that, which obviously takes longer, but it could be similar to trying to do a flat knit panel. You bought Easter egg die tellets on Amazon? Yeah, you definitely can. I think that they tend to be a bit more expensive, excuse me, than what you can find in person. But, you know, like as I said, I bought Kool-Aid off of eBay. So, hi! Oh, welcome, welcome. Yeah. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I appreciate everyone joining in tonight. I mean, this was a lot of fun. Oh, now I can try. Da, 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 da. Hey, that's kind of a cute little crown, huh? So it is much bigger. I can fit my head through the machine. Don't necessarily recommend it. You could risk breaking it. I wonder if the legs come off easily, but I'm kind of afraid to try. And yeah, I mean, this is twice as big as the Singer machine. But now at least if I accidentally leave one out and my kids like throw it to the ground, then I have another one on hand. But hey, the ball winder that Ryder broke and I super glued back together, it's still working. So I have the brand new one, but I haven't had to use the brand new one yet. So that's pretty nice. Ah, I should like make that I should take a picture like that. Oh dear, I'm getting a little loopy. It's been a long weekend. But I'm so excited for the sock length special. I, have had like so many ideas, and I ran into a little problem that I plan to have 5 pre-filmed episodes, and I have 3 edited and ready to go. And then I currently have 3 blanks that are waiting to be unraveled. And I was like, oh wait, I did an extra one by accident. So I have to decide if I'm going to have a 6th video come out on Saturday or something, or if that's going to turn into a Die Pot Weekly episode later on. So yeah, I have to figure out the timing of that and decide which of the 3 blanks I want to be the last 2 pre-filmed episodes for the sock length special week. But, and whether or not, I didn't put a link to this in the video description. If it's not worth the effort to you to make your own blanks, you can buy them. Knit Picks does sell individual sock blanks, so you're not required to start off with buying the 20 pack or something. And so, it's not a limitation. That makes it accessible, but these are $19.99 each versus about $8 for the equivalent yarn to make your own. And so as with any craft or hobby, if it's worth it to you to go through the effort to make your own blanks, then it's, oh, I found one of those like clip pieces that I broke. If it's worth it to you to make your own blanks, you know, it's all about personal preference. Am I going to dye more roving? Yes. I don't have one planned. Oh, I do have a roving dyeing video coming up from this soon in Dye Pot Weekly. I have a dyeing roving with some jacquard acid dyes. And I'm trying to think if I have another roving one video. I need to do some more. Maybe after the Sock Blank special, I'll do a live stream or something. I also need to do, people have been asking for more spinning live streams. And so once we get through Sock Blank special, then maybe we'll do like another spin along kind of thing. I have some roving that I haven't spun yet. But yeah, it's funny because in like when I was prepping for like Kickstarter awards, there were some times when I was spinning not on camera and I was like, I almost feel like I'm cheating. You've been knitting blanks on your Addie King. Oh, okay, yeah. What weight yarns does the Addie King take up? I'd love to know more about it. I've been coveting one, but you know, I mean, I just bought another plastic machine, so I'm far away from taking the plunge on something else. Do I have any recommendations for getting jewel tone solid colors? Well, what kind of dye and what kind of fiber are you interested in? So I've gotten with Wilton's colors, I've gotten some really, really nice deep jewel tones. I find, especially with like Broken Violet and stuff, I like to use about half a teaspoon of Wilton's icing color per 100 grams of yarn. Will give it like a nice, really intense saturated color. You made a mistake of looking at your Ravelry queue. You have more yarn. Yeah, I've been wanting to like get my whole stash on Ravelry and I haven't. DK and worsted is best with the Addie Turbo King, but Saka is a very open stitch, but not a problem. Okay, that's cool. So you could totally do a double-stranded fingering weight on that machine. Oh, you bought the yarn that I use. It's 75-25 merino and acrylic, or merino and nylon. Because acrylic is different from nylon. Acrylic won't take up food coloring, but nylon will. So you haven't played with dyes yet. So, I mean, I think that food coloring is, oh, no worries. Okay, so it's nylon. Food coloring is a very, like, easy way to get started because it's something, you know, you can find it in your grocery store or craft store, and you can use, like, stuff that you use. Hi, Marie! You can use stuff that you have in your kitchen, and because everything is food safe. But the acid dyes, like, you know, they're intended, like jacquard acid dyes are intended to use for dyeing yarn. And the chemistry of how like acid dyes work and food coloring works to bind to yarn are very similar, which is why the techniques, you know, you can use translate well with the amount of vinegar and citric acid and things like that. That translates really nicely. It's just with the acid dyes, the real thing is that you need a second set of equipment because you don't want to use the same pot with the acid dyes for dyeing as you do with the food coloring. Now, technically food coloring is a type of acid dye. It's just a food safe type of acid dye. But another thing to keep in mind is that I buy all my ingredients in the United States. And I know that some people in Europe, I don't know if Canada has different ingredients, but a lot of people in Europe, the food colorings, the different molecules that are used as food coloring, there's different regulations. So there's some that are used in Europe that are not allowed in the US and vice versa. And so that means that even through Wilton, the ingredients on the food coloring are going to be different from the ones that I see. So therefore colors might break differently. It's something to keep in mind. Any way to make food coloring light fast. So a lot of dyes, I mean, even commercial dyes will fade over time. I have a video on the channel about like, is food coloring light fast? And I show one thing that I knit that had been on my windowsill for a really long period of time, and so did see some fading. But I also showed one of my favorite winter hats that I wear all the time. I wear it so often, and it's, gosh, years old. It's years old, and it really doesn't have any noticeable fading to it yet. So if you're going to make a toy or something, a decorative piece that's going to be out all the time, you might see some fading. But, you know, you probably see fading if you flip your couch cushions over and stuff too. So it's not necessarily noticeable. I have I'll grab it, a blanket that has my first ever dyed yarns. And this is something that is, I mean, it's not necessarily in direct sunlight, but, you know, this is, I'll find an area that has a lot. So this has a lot of, this was 20% wool, 80% acrylic. And it does have some commercially dyed yarns in here as well. So the darkest strands, like this dark green, was commercially dyed. But these, like the greens and these little purples and stuff in there, those were ones that I dyed with Kool-Aid in some of my first ever dyeing experiments. And, you know, this is because of the pilling, it's a well-loved blanket. It gets a lot of use. And so, I mean, and it's been washed. These colors last. You know, here's, you know, you can see like a pink and a yellow, and they're definitely not as bright as things you can get when you dye 100% wool. You can get really nice intense colors. So the colors are definitely more muted when you're using a wool acrylic blend, but it's just something that I have that I can show that the colors do last. And it's something that, you know, it's frequently like right there. So have I done any neon? So I've done the most recent snow dyeing video on the channel. I forget what Dye Pot Weekly number it is. That I used McCormick's neon food colors for that, but I haven't really done the neon colors individually. I'm usually mix them. Am I always this upbeat? Well, I mean, I get like sad and angry and stuff sometimes. Not usually in live streams or when I'm knitting though. It's something that's like really relaxing and like my happy place. So, but yes, I do have a pretty like upbeat personality in general. I mean, I'm a little enthusiastic about things, but you know, in camp, growing up, I got the Energizer Bunny Award because they kept going and going and going as like a positive. It was not an insulting award, but I also like in high school got like the Spirit Award on the team and stuff for being like supportive and enthusiastic. So that's just kind of who I am. Oh, sorry, Melissa. Yes, please, if I miss a question, just like point out. When there's a lot of stuff, things fly on the phone quickly. So let me see. You're a pastry chef, so you have a ton of food colorings, and you just bought some jacquard dyes, but haven't come yet. Just worried about them with your 5-year-old. I'm assuming that's a dog. So I have... Yes, okay. So, I mean, I have 2 young kids, and I'm using acid dyes in my kitchen. Now, because it's like a well-ventilated area in my home, I wear the mask because inhaling the powders can be bad for you. So if you have a dog or something, like my dog was in like his crate in another room when I was using it. And when I went and I wiped up the counter and stuff after mixing these dyes, there wasn't a lot of, like there wasn't a ton of dye that like had escaped and like kind of gone off. Like there was none on my floor or anything like that. So the particles didn't really travel far. Like in theory, you could do it outside, but I would almost think because of wind, it could be even more dangerous because a big gust of wind and it could fly up. And so, I have a dust mask that I got from Dharma Trading Company where I ordered my acid dyes. And I wear that when I was mixing them. But once, like, a lot of the dye containers even say that they're safe to use with children supervised when they're in solution. So, they're not, like, the danger isn't, like, you don't want to inhale anything. It can be bad for your lungs. It can clog your lungs and cause, like, problems down the road. It can be irritating. You could have, like, an allergic reaction or something. There's issues. There are issues with a lot of powders. After using the Jacquard acid dyes, I looked at Kool-Aid, and the particles in Kool-Aid are actually, like, bigger than the particles in the acid dyes. So it was it's less of maybe a concern, but still something like, you might want to wear a mask if you're using a lot of Kool-Aid, because, it's probably not that good for you to inhale that either, but otherwise, safety-wise, I feel comfortable. I mean, I wipe everything down, and I'm not using acid dyes in my microwave because I worry about splatter and being able to clean that up. But I'm otherwise comfortable using it in my kitchen. So I hope that helps. Yeah. So, but again, like this, what I can tell you is my comfort level, and you might have a different comfort level when it comes to safety and stuff. So someone else might decide that they don't want to use their kitchen at all. But I think that, all these dye companies, and, this is my opinion, there's certainly, like, safety information is important because there's otherwise liability. And I think that, all these companies are recommending stovetop techniques to use with their dyes. And most people only have access to a stove in their kitchen. And if these companies are going to say, make sure you use non-food pots and pans and stuff to do this dyeing, if it weren't safe to do in your kitchen, in your home, then they would have to say that as well. It does say not, to keep out of reach of young children, but also so do all the cleaning supplies that you probably have. So, I think that, I feel pretty comfortable. How toxic are the commercial colors? I mean, I don't know if they're necessarily, like, it's not going to hurt you if you touch it. I mean, you might change your skin color, but I don't know if it's something, toxic. Oh yeah, Marie, I made a whole blank. I made a whole blank on the machine. It's very pretty. It worked. It's nice. I liked it a lot. But yeah, now the blank's off. So that part's done, but you can go back on the replay to see that. Yes. You only have one pair of lungs. So it's worth, like, I think that you kind of want to use it's mostly common sense safety. Like, don't splash it in your eyes. Like, don't eat it, and that kind of stuff. Another dyeing video you watched used a damp paper towel under the powder containers when mixing because it acts as a magnet to airborne powders. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that, I don't know about it's not necessarily a magnet to airborne powders, but it'll certainly catch anything that falls, so then you won't redisturb it and make it airborne again, because it'll be kind of stuck to the paper towel. But yeah, that's not a bad tip. The first time, so again, I share things the first time I try it. So I have videos that I shared of the first time I was mixing acid dyes, and I was nervous. But it wasn't so bad. You can do this without having, like, a fume hood or something in your home. But I wouldn't necessarily do it in, like, a tiny closet, but if you have I've been waiting to use my indigo kit. So I have an indigo tie-dye kit that I'm excited to use. I have my 5-gallon bucket ready to go, but I'm waiting for the weather to be nice, because that I want to do outside, mainly because of the mess factor. I don't want to dye my floors, and I want to do it outside so that way, like, I'm not going to spill blue. Well, actually, I guess it looks green before it oxidizes. I don't want to spill indigo everywhere. Not because of that's more because of a cleanliness type concern. Yeah, Yeah, but I think that it always makes sense to check with and you know, a lot of people talk about and ask about mordants. I have a natural dyeing kit, and what's funny is that there's surprisingly little information that is not hearsay about natural dyeing. A lot of the hearsay, like, you know, when it's like, oh, you need to make sure you use mordants outside and like, you can't, you know, and how you can dispose of it. But again, there is very little information from the companies who sell you the mordants. I mean, you can look up and get the MSDS safety information, but there's a lot of times little information about how to deal with these chemicals from the companies. And so that's something I'm still doing research about. Yeah, I tend to use nitrile gloves, but when you're a doctor and dealing with meds, yes, you know, using gloves and masks, but there's also, in addition to the protection to you as the medical professional, it's also a protection, and you can have concerns about sterility when it comes to the medication you're preparing for the patient. And so, you know, we're not worried about anything being sterile here, but I do, I mean, I don't have a latex problem, but I happen to use nitrile gloves just because I like the way that they, like, I don't have a reaction to latex, but I don't like the way that latex smells. So I prefer the nitrile because that's also what I used back in the chemistry lab and stuff. So you're making your first blank now. Yay! It's a blank along. Yeah. Awesome. So, you know, and it's like I'm learning, and when it comes to these things, like, different people have different levels of comfort, and, you know, you might decide that you want to be more stringent than something that I do, and that's, like, you know, there's no judgment from me on that. But yeah, I finished. So basically, I know some of you are just joining, I took out this knitting machine today, this Loops and Threads quick knitting machine. I opened up, put it together, and we made a whole worsted weight blank out of 100 grams of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Bare yarn. And then I will dye this blank in one of the live streams next week. That'll start, wait, is today Sunday? Yeah, so I have the first live stream on Sunday night, which, well, maybe I'll make a blank during that live stream, but basically we'll chat about the week next Sunday night. And then on Monday evening will be the first live stream, I think. Yeah, I was actually really impressed. So it's got the Loops and Threads machine has 40 stitches. The newer Singer knitting machine has 22. And so here's one of the Singer blanks in the round, and here is the Loops and Thread blank. The gauge is basically identical, but since it's got more stitches, then you can, you know, the blank isn't as long, and you have a bigger, like a wider surface area. I mean, the surface area is about the same with both, but you have a wider surface. So for doing like some fun shapes and stuff. Yeah, I still really like the Singer knitting machines, but I think that just like making a crochet blank is going to be a little different from a knit blank. Having a wider tube versus a narrower tube gives you different, like, there's different things you can do with it. And yes, you can definitely, no, I didn't drop any stitches. I was shocked. I have experience with knitting machines because I've used the Singer. So basically it's very similar once you get started. But I found that the Loops and Thread, the fabric is way more even than I got. And this is one of my more perfect ones from the Singer machines. I think this one was probably made on the old Singer machine, but I don't know for sure. I don't remember exactly. The one issue I had with the Michaels machine is that I broke two of these like weighted clips, but they still work as weights. So I don't think I will change it for that. I mean, so there was a comment that flat panels improve color penetration. And I think that it depends on the type of yarn, and it depends on the application method that you are using with color. So if you're going to dip dye or something, then it doesn't make as big of a difference. If you are hand painting with squeeze bottles, the 2 layers doesn't make a huge difference. If you're going to be using like a color mist spray or something that does a more lighter application of color, it can start to make a big difference, especially if you're dealing with super washables. Having the extra layer can make a difference. But again, it's something that you can take advantage of. So it's another way to do something really, really cool with dyeing yarn. Now, I mean, ultimately, I love these Knit Picks blanks. They unravel really beautifully. They're flat. They're amazing. But I know that, I bought a 20 pack to play with. But I know that that's not something that's easy for everyone to do. And so it's easier to make your own. And it's easier to make the blanks in the round than it is flat. I mean, on the Singer machines, I gave up. It wasn't worth the effort. With this machine, it might be more worth it because it's fewer rows. So therefore, it wouldn't be as long. I am absolutely an enabler. My KnitFix affiliate link is in the description. I've linked to the Wool of the Andes yarn that I used in the blank tonight. But they have, so I started off buying my bare yarns from Knit Picks, and I still go there for most of my yarns. And I've been buying bare yarn from them for over 8 years now. And one of the things I liked was that I could buy individual skeins of yarn. And there's a lot of companies out there that sell bare yarn, but a lot of times you need to buy 10 packs. And that's scary if you haven't tried the yarn before. And so that's a reason why one of the many reasons why I dig Knit Picks. There were a lot of comments. So you've only made a few blanks and the gears messed up on your loops and threads machine. You had to return it and get a new one. Yeah, I mean, that's a problem with a plastic machine. So, I mean, I've pushed these Singer machines pretty hard. Like I did double-stranded worsted weight, which it was not happy. I thought I was going to strip the gears and not be able to use it again. And it still is working fine. But definitely, if you have an issue with it, try to return it. They're definitely not perfect. But the nice thing about making a blank is that if you have dropped stitches or a messed up part, and a lot of my blanks have some messed up parts to them, then you can, if it's got a messed up part, then you can just, you're going to unravel it anyway. So it's okay. I don't know about ironing wool, to be honest. So the comment was maybe using a pressing cloth and ironing them flatter before dyeing might help. I mean, if you're going to be doing if you're going to pre-soak your blank, then ironing it isn't going to do anything because you can kind of block it before you're going to dye. You just started buying bare bulk yarn. Yay! It's fun. But yeah, I've got my link is in the description. Oh, no apologies. Suggestions are always welcome. And even if I am a naysayer, you guys are also welcome to try to prove me wrong. I love being proved wrong. You haven't found much wholesale you haven't found a lot of wholesale bulk bare yarn here in Canada. So I know Knit Picks does sell to Canada, and I think that they have free shipping over a $75 order. I mean, I think that they also ship to the UK and Australia. And I don't know what the free shipping numbers are for that. I think Australia might be $100, a $100 order for free shipping. I have one site. So let me find the link. That's not the post I wanted. Going to my own website. Okay. So there is a Canadian company, and the Sandry, oh, come on, make me sign into chat. Like, it's me. All right, so the Sandry 3080 is me, everybody. For some reason, my computer has me not on my account. So, oh, and it won't let me add a link. Okay, let's see if I can switch, switch to, like, the ChemKnits. Like sign, because like it's a different email address. All right, now I should be able to add the link. Okay, I just added a link that has like an explanation of the whole sock blank special dialogue, and it has where to buy knit blanks. But there is a Canadian company that you can add, I think, $6 or $6.50, and they will turn any of their sock yarns into a blank for you. And so I don't know what shipping would be from there to the US, but I thought that it was really interesting that you could order an individual skein of sock yarn and then order, you know, for an extra $6, I might pay to get like a custom blank and a custom yarn. So, and they do both single and double-stranded blanks. If you do, please share. Oh, you have to pay duty and taxes. Yeah, of course. I'm sure that even if I ship something to you guys, I know that they can like hold it and make you pay to get it out. Okay, in Sweden, it's really bad to order from the USA and get shipped to Sweden. Yeah, I'm sure that it's hard. I don't have a lot of experience ordering things to be shipped internationally. To like arrive here. When I lived in Australia for 5 months, I did ship a box home, but I shipped it really slow, and it was like a fill it up with as much as you can, because I bought a lot of stuff while I was there. So I shipped home a box of my clothes. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm feeling, gosh, that was 14 years ago that I was in Australia. Did you ever find the Red Heart and Soul sock yarn? I think I found it somewhere online, but I haven't found it in... Wait. No, maybe Michael's was sold out of it. So I don't think I got... Did I? I don't remember what I got. I got 2 kinds of sock yarn from Michael's in the order because I was like, oh, these are ones that can be found in big box stores. I mean, I am, you know, like, so Knit Picks isn't, like, I do make commission if you guys use my links, but they don't pay me for like mentioning them or anything. So it's like my use of their yarns is just because it's the easiest, and I know since I went with the bear yarn, since I've knit with so many of their other yarns, then like I'm like, ooh, a bear version of this yarn. I know I like this yarn. So that's been easy. But I'm trying to pick up expand the brands that I try, so that way it's like, you know, you guys can then say like, ooh, I saw this in the ChemKnits video. I want to try dyeing this one. So I try to try things out. And that's another reason why I got this, because I wanted to make a bigger blank or like a wider blank. So I was excited about that. But I also knew that you guys had a lot of questions about whether this one was worth it. And honestly, it is more expensive, but it is a higher quality machine than the Singer knitting machines. So, you know, there's that aspect to it. Ooh. Aha, I see you guys talking about some cool Canadian mills. Am I going to try to do a flat blank on it? Eventually. I mean, not right now. Because I'm probably going to go to bed shortly. But I will try. I don't know if I'll be able to before the sock blank special. I still have some editing and stuff to do. But eventually I do plan to try to do a flat blank on it. So I know, but it's possible that I'll try and I'll get frustrated and then give up. So the things about this, some features that are better, is that this knitting machine has one black hook, which you can see right here. Okay, so I now have this on the flat panel. So it comes to a few stitches beyond on one side, and then you go around the other side, and then it stops at the black. Okay. So the reason why it overextends a bit is because, like, well, I observed this at the other one. It looks like you're like, wait, it goes a little more than one round each way, but you kind of have to go past it for the way the yarn gets picked up for doing the flat panel properly. Now, this winds really easily back and forth and is not sticking, which was one of my big annoyances on the Singer knitting machine. So it'll be slower. But since this has more stitches, it would be fewer times back and forth. So I'm more inclined to not give up on this machine, since it was overall a much smoother ride. Like, I was expecting to like have some major troubleshooting or something, since I was trying this for the first time live tonight. But it went really, really smoothly. I know it's not the most riveting television to go back and watch me make a whole blank, but I did. Like, I didn't sign off. Like, I made a whole blank in this live stream. And so, yeah, it was great. But anyway, I think that yeah, the live stream, sometimes it takes a little while and especially since we're coming up on an hour and 50 minutes for YouTube to process the video. But like, it will, once YouTube is done processing it, however, then it just will show up on the channel page. So I don't really have much control over that at all. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I mean, I think that, you know, my official review is that I really like this knitting machine. I'm sure I would love something like the Addi Turbo even more. It would feel sturdier, I'm sure, since it's not made out of plastic. But for a plastic machine, and especially for making something that I plan to unravel, it's great. I mean, again, you know, you're not necessarily going to get the most amazing hats or something out of this, just because the gauge is not really tight enough for a warm hat. But again, for a kid, like, wouldn't it be so bad at all? I think that it's totally worth it for me, especially if you get a coupon when you buy it. So, you know, the clips are cheap, but honestly, you could use, I broke 2 of the clips, you can kind of see, but they still work even like broken to weigh down the blank at the beginning. And if you have chip clips, they're not really weighted beyond the plastic. So if you have chip clips or anything, you could use almost anything. Exactly. You could use a chip clip for it. So it's not worth it to me to return the machine just because these clips broke. But, you know, it is a plastic machine, so things are going to break. I mean, the crochet hook is not a high quality crochet hook, but again, it's plastic. So, oh, the Addi King is plastic and it looks the same. Oh, but it has table clamps. Ah, I thought that I thought one of the Addi machines was like $250 though. I was hoping that it wouldn't be plastic for that price. But anyway, yeah, so there's still a little bit of time. There's still a little bit of time to, well, if you're making your own blanks, you've got another week before the sock blank special starts. It's better quality plastic. Oh, okay. But there's not necessarily time for a Knit Picks order to arrive by next Monday unless you pay for rush shipping or something. But you might be able to get something by the end of the week. And so, you know, you still have time where you can run to your local store and pick up some yarn, make your own blanks or buy your own. I mean, I still, like, if I weren't trying to make this as accessible as possible, then maybe I would start sticking to these. But I honestly don't mind cranking out the blanks. I kind of have fun. So it's something that, like, especially if I don't always have the brain power to focus on like the kind of knitting patterns that I love to do right now, being able to just like crank one of these, like, it's just nice, and I can do it while watching a movie or something. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining me and hanging out. I really, really had a blast tonight, and I will be live tomorrow morning to dye some yarn. I'm going to use, I think, a variety of different yarn bases. Probably will do a bunch of dip dyeing, maybe some hand painting, but oh, this one I got from Michaels online. The link that I have in the video description is to Amazon, because I'm an affiliate with Amazon, and I don't get any credit from anything from Michaels, but I don't recommend actually buying it from Amazon, just because it is more expensive and you don't get coupons like you do from Michaels. But yeah, but the Knit Picks, yeah, I do highly recommend Knit Picks yarns, and so there's the link in the description. If you, if I've convinced you that you should buy some, then, you know. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully I'll see some of you in the morning. Bye, everyone.